I want to speak about your kids a little bit too. The conversation that you and I had as we were stoking the sauna fire at the retreat, I don't think I expressed this to you, but you shared some stuff with me about your experience in having kids and the calls that you got from doctors and the time that you had to spend in the NICU and stuff with your kids, where I actually thought to myself, holy man, here's somebody who really understands what I went through. And then there was a level of like, oh my gosh, you are still in that phase years and years later of really being so attentive to your kids and their health. Whereas with me and my wife, we had a scare for a good 4 months where we weren't sure if our son would survive because he was only a pound and 3 ounces when he was born. So we spent the first 4 months in the NICU with him. But since then, he's been pretty good, like he's got big, thick bottle cap glasses. But aside from that, he's healthy, like he's healthy and he's functioning good and he's growing and all of that. And anyways, I just want to kind of open the space for that, for you to share as much as you want around your experience in having kids, just the conversation that we had around the sauna.
Yeah, sure. So I have 2 beautiful children, and they're obviously why I do this every day. My son's 16 and my daughter's 11, and they both have something called phenylketonuria, which that sounds like a mouthful. It is. We call it PKU for short. It's a metabolic condition in which they're missing an enzyme in their liver that metabolizes protein. And if it's not controlled by diet and formula, then phenylalanine levels build up in the blood and they actually cause mental retardation. They can if it's not monitored. So, we learned how to do that, and it was like weighing everything back then, 16 years ago, right? Like the apps were just coming out and stuff like that. And so we had to do everything longhand. So it was like weighing what he ate, weighing what he drank, the formula, then recording it, and then emailing this every day to Children's Hospital, blood tests every 2-3 days to see where his phenylalanine levels were in his blood, and just monitoring that and getting him into a comfortable place where, none of that damage could occur. So we really took that on as like, hey, we got to be anal about this stuff like we do everything else in life. Attention details everything. And we did. And, he's straight A student. He's 16 years old. If you met him, you'd never know he was any different. And we've always treated our kids that way. And so you talk about that, and, you go back to when Lila was born. So there's a 5-year gap between the kids. And I remember seeing Nolan and going, hey, Nolan, so you're going to have a baby sister. What do you think about that? And he's like, that's cool. I'm so excited about that. And then we asked him, so what do you think? Is Lila going to have PKU? And, he's like, yeah, I hope she does. And so you got this beautiful 5-year-old little boy, and he doesn't know any better because he's just pure. And as a parent, you just cry. Your heart breaks because you're like, I want that for my son so that he's not alone on one hand. But I don't want that for my daughter on the other hand, right? Because no parent does, right? So that was a hard thing for us to deal with when Lila was born. And of course, you fast forward now, and she's 11, and she's very healthy and active dancer and all these things. She's just a beautiful soul as well. And I think we've done an okay job. But one thing at the retreat that really came up when we talked about that, Trevor, is, I'm working on myself in all these other aspects of my life. The work that came out of it for me there was that I had totally not even considered that I have these 2 beautiful kids, because we've never treated them any different, right? We've always treated them as what we just deem normal, and never making a big deal about them having PKU, because not trying to draw attention to it for their own sake, as well as just allowing them to mesh in with everybody else. And because there's a lot of fear, between other kids and, oh, what is that? That's weird, and things like that. And those comments will be made. And, you're a mama and a daddy bear. You're going to protect your kids to some degree. So, but in doing that and protecting them and not treating any different like that, I think what I came to learn is like, that's the next thing I need to work on as a person, is really just go back to that trauma that happened and then happen again. Because to have 2 kids with it, they were shocked. Like, it was the equivalent of the Powerball lottery is the analogy that they gave us at Children's Hospital. Like, this never happened. So, and I think, why did it happen to Brandy and I? Because we can handle it, because we can deal with it. But I think, again, going back to the retreat, it's just being more aware of my children with this and how they're having to deal with it on a day-to-day. And that is the beautiful thing that came out of that last weekend, is just I came home with such a renewed point of perspective on how to treat them, and I don't know, just to be a better parent overall if I can be, and be more aware.
Well, I'm glad we got to have that part of the conversation, because that was another big thing that I saw you experience at the retreat, but also it was also the gift I think you gave everybody else too, which was, we are all there to work on ourselves and to spend that selfish me time that we deserve. But we're also there for all of these other people in our lives that we care about so much. And we want to help so badly because we are committed, conscious creators of our reality. But I think there was an aha moment on the Sunday where all of us realized that us doing the work is actually helping heal our kids and our extended family and everybody, quite frankly, that we come in contact with. And that was a big moment for me on the weekend, was to see you show up completely open to whatever was downloaded to you, knowing that you maybe go into the experience with expectations, while at the same time just kind of being like, I surrender to what is. But there's a difference between saying that and actually doing it, and really completely surrendering to like, oh shit, that's why I'm here. And I saw that in you. And that was a gift that you gave to everybody else. I just wanted to acknowledge you for that, man, because your vulnerability and your ability to let the emotions be right on the sleeve and be a big, like, dude, you're bigger than me and I'm pretty big, dude, like, to see somebody that shows up with that kind of vulnerability and honesty, it inspires me. It really does. And, I want to spend more time with people like that. That's what I was craving 6 months ago, was to attract people like you into my life. So yeah, just want to acknowledge you for that, man. I appreciate you.
That's super kind, Trevor. I'm humbled by that. Thank you. And I think you doing this and getting the word out and how you're doing it, I think it's amazing. And keep doing it, because I think you've really created something special. And I would love to be a part of it however I can moving forward in terms of helping you guys in that cause. Because seeing 12 literally strangers come together in that environment, and all it takes is one to open that up, that floor, and you just saw it. Like, everybody else saw it and then contributed to it. And I think, everyone went back to their day-to-day, but I think everybody went back to their day-to-day with a different mindset. And I think that that's amazing. So if we can be 1% better to our children, to our spouses, to our partners, to our coworkers, to strangers, why wouldn't you try? Like, what do you got to lose, right? The unknown is scary. Embrace that shit, because that's the best change that'll come out of life.
100%. Well, and we will definitely be continuing down this journey and integrating and everything, and finding the space and time to be able to connect and see how we can all support and elevate each other. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch the full unedited episode, go ahead and click over here. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks so much.